All right. Good morning or afternoon, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to be playing around with the new SSL X-Delay here. It came out a little while ago, but I haven't had a chance to get to it. I love playing with delay more than I like playing with reverb, so in mixing. So always kind of fun to see a new delay come out, and I think SSL does a great job with their plugins overall, so also excited about that. The whole point of this stream is just for me to figure out these plugins in real time. I haven't tried this out at all. I've read a little bit about what they're trying to do, but I haven't cracked the manual or anything. So it's going to be me fumbling through in real time and giving my honest opinion and my honest reactions and seeing what I think, what I like, what I don't like, what I would like to see. SSL plugins, they've really put the pedal down in the last year with releasing plugins and putting new stuff out, so that's awesome. I think all of their plugins are really great. They're really forward thinking. They all sound great. They really did something amazing with that SSL 360 software. I don't know if anybody's tried that, but it is super cool. Really wish all of their plugins would kind of integrate into that, not just the channel strip and the bus compressor. This thing looks great. SSL plugins, they really just try and make it look like their hardware, which is great. All the knobs look super familiar. So I kind of have a checklist I go through when I pull up a plugin. First off, how does it look? Does it look inspiring to use? Does it excite me? SSL stuff looks always pretty functional, but clean. This looks like it's going for a bit of a digital delay, maybe vintage digital delay thing with kind of the background here. So that's cool. The GUI looks clean, colorful. It does maybe look a little bit busy. The plugin overall looks maybe a little bit busy, but that's okay. Can we resize it? Resizing is really important to me. No resizing feature. That's too bad. I'm a laptop user, so that's important to me. GUI looks great, but I would love a resizing option. That would be awesome. What else we got? Oversample. Are we running a bit of oversample here? Nope. Doesn't look like we got any latency, so that's cool. It's got AB functionality, which is amazing. Undo, redo. I love that stuff. That should be on every plugin. Obviously, we can lock to our host, or we can tap tempo, so that's cool. I like tap tempo on delays. That's awesome. And you can multiply, I'm guessing, that. We will have to try that out. Looks like we got 4 taps or 4 delays available to us, so that's cool. Sync on ping pong. So we got a ping pong mode, which is awesome. Time, which we can make triplet or dotted, and we can swap to milliseconds here by the looks of it if I take the sync off. Yes. That's great. That's awesome. Can really just kind of quickly move around on the times, which is awesome. Level 100%, so looks like we can change the blend between some of the delays. We have multiple ones going on, so that's cool. Panning. Oh, pretty detailed panning. Oh, and you can just kind of get in there and grab it, so that's cool. So 100% left, 100% right. That's awesome. You could really place your delays. I like that. That's neat. And maybe you could pan them around. Like maybe you could automate that. That would be pretty cool. I like that idea already. What else we got? We got some input, we got some modulation, so we can make it move around a little bit. We have some saturation and some diffusion and de-essing. De-essing on is great. I've seen that in a few of their plugins, I think, or I see it more frequently in plugins. I think that should all be built into all kind of reverb and delay effects unit, is the ability to de-ess. I mean, if you see here on my template, I have a de-esser on all of my inserts, just so that I can do that before I hit the plugin. So that's always really handy. We got some feedback, we got freeze, we got kill. So looks like you can do some pretty cool stuff here if you really want to blow up the delay a little bit. We got a high pass and low pass filter, which is awesome. We got some width, stereo width, which is great. Got a mix knob, awesome, and output, awesome. And we got meters, which I love. I love meters. I wish they weren't on the exact opposite sides of the plugin, but that's okay. I've got a session loaded up here from Darren Frank, the incredible Darren Frank, a song called Air Intake, and I think we'll just kind of dive in on some vocals. We'll see how it sounds there. Maybe move around to some guitars and maybe some drums. See what it sounds like, and just try it out on some different sources and see what we can get.
Everything all the time. I don't really know why.
So ping pong, dotted eighth, 16. I'd love it if it just kind of loaded up. I guess we might as well just see what it sounds like right off the rip. So, what insert do I have this on? heavy-handed effect right off the rip, but it sounds nice. My initial impression is it sounds great. It sounds awesome. Really clean and musical. Yeah, it sounds really nice. All right, let's just simplify for ourselves. So this is kind of like just a basic slap right at the moment. Let's see what the width does, if we can make this, if it like adds any sort of... So that's 200%. I don't... So obviously we have to have 2 instances, or delay 1 and 2 on to make this happen, so we'll just see what that does. Alright, so now we got some stereo. See what the width does now? So the width's not doing anything. Sorry, I have to be great if there was just some sort of immediate offset button so that I could just make it a stereo delay really quickly. I guess I can just do that. So now let's see what the width does. So add some width. 100%. Back to 200%. Yeah, so a little bit. So obviously when I crank the width there, I'm just getting a ton of volume being added. I think it would be great if there was some sort of auto gain feature on there so that wasn't happening. Okay, let's see if we can just kind of get like a basic dirty slap kind of thing happening. Pop that back off. Let's see what the saturate does. So a little bit gritty, but not much. Let's go back to the default. Back to default. That's full. A little bit of grit. Very musical sounding grit. Nothing unpleasing about that. So it's cranking some modulation does for us. Open up your ribcage. Just makes it a little. See the way your heart beats. A little bit. Let's go back to default. Keep breathing.
running through everything all the time.
Yeah, modulation is also really subtle, which is great. I sometimes feel like the modulation feature on plugins just gets really out of control and out of hand pretty quickly. Let's pop this second delay back in. Let's see what our diffuse does here. No diffusion. Yeah, this thing sounds really nice. It's super musical, very smooth. So diffusion gives us a little bit of verbiness. Set it back in the mix there a little bit.
Everything all the time. Everything all the time. I'm working on a new plan.
Gets a little tinny, a little thin.
Clean cuts, but the blood stains.
Take the diffusion off.
It's running out through my cold veins. It's bigger than anyone.
Full diffusion. So it is nice if you want to add a little bit more dreaminess to it. Set it back. 50%. DS is super handy if you got, especially if you like really want to push the vocal. I like cut the de-essers there. That's awesome. Let's try the filters out. Pop the diffusion off. Bypass sounds really nice. It doesn't get too thin. I mean, even though it's right up to 500, doesn't totally gut it. Sounds really nice. Yeah, it's a really nice sounding filter. Let's try the low pass. Seems like a really smooth slope. Sounds like 12, but it might actually just be 6. Might be 6.
But I don't really know why. Clean cuts, but the blood stains.
Sounds really nice though, and I like my delays super dark. I would probably just set it so it defaults at 3K, but sounds really nice. So that's great. I don't use freeze a ton. I don't use the freeze function a ton in delays when it's available. That generally is happening more in the production world, not so much in mixing and mastering. But great that it's there. And the kill's right below it, which is awesome because sometimes you forget what's happening there. This thing sounds awesome. Let's just see. Oh, so they break down the presets into two different phases, return and channel insert, so that's awesome. I like my delays. I mean, it depends on what's happening, but I generally run things on returns, so let's just play around with a couple of presets, see what happens. A little phasiness.
Open up your rib cage. Hey.
So we're doing short delays here. It sounds really nice, actually.
Keep breathing.
Use lots of short delays just to kind of give a little bit of ambience or room. Use that a lot, and this sounds really nice. Doesn't sound too weird at all.
I'm working on a new plan.
Buttery bass. Again, more of a short delay kind of looking thing. A little bit of room, a bit of ambience. Oh, that sounds nice. This is straight up telling you that it's just trying to make it stereo, which is great. Yeah, this sounds awesome. Yeah, that's the cool thing about the 4 taps in the level. You could really dial in a complex delay right on one, and if this is all automatable, you could bring some of those throws in and out. So you could really get a flavor of something, and then in those moments on a mix where you just want to add a little bit more depth to it, add a quarter note, add a half, something like that, you can really dial that in. So, and it looks like we can automate all that, so that's awesome. Vocals, I think it sounds really great, especially something like this, which is a little bit more dreamy, a little bit more open. There's lots of room for that kind of stuff, so it seems to really sit in there really nicely, which is great. Plugin feels really good to use. The traction on the knobs feels really good. Everything moves really easily, which is awesome. I can change it all really good. I wish that kind of glide stuff was off. I don't really need that. Can't really select that, which is too bad, but that's okay, because yeah, if you do want to change the delay time, I wonder if it does it on the milliseconds as well. Let's take it off sync. Yeah, I don't need that tapey effect on there, but that's okay. Pretty minor. Let's head over to the manual and see what's going on over there. All right, so the help button looks like it's just kind of tooltips. Okay. Doesn't take me to the manual. I wish it did. I wish there was like a tooltips and a manual function. I'd like the manual to be really, really handy, but that's just me. I've got the thing up here. So, the latest premium creative plugin from Solid State Logic, inspired by legendary hardware processors from the 80s era of big delays. So, and it sounds like that. It sounds really musical. So I'm guessing like some PCMs and stuff like that. It's probably based off of intuitive digital delay controlled from a gorgeous and easy to use UI. The UI is nice, it's pretty. It's a little bit busy, but it's pretty. In addition to the endless sound you can create from a combination of 4 independently syncable taps. That's great. Saturated, fast stereo soundscapes. Yeah, it's good. It does it all. So you can get close. It doesn't get super gritty. It would be great if the saturation kind of just had like a click over into distortion, but that's okay. You can always add a distortion afterwards. Polyrhythms, ping pong, add movement and a touch with SSL's saturation and modulation, so that's great. Freeze and kill, risers and drops, global multiplier. So bespoke one knob diffusion controlling a brand new reverb design, built-in de-esser, which is great. That's super handy. Built on the SSL plugin engine. setting values, fine control, which is awesome, bypass, setting the BPM, sync to host, all basic stuff, tap time, tap level. The tap level thing's really great. You don't see that on a lot of plugins like the old Waves multi-tap or super tap or whatever it is. That's kind of got that set up, and but you don't see that on a lot of delays, or at least the ones I use. I could be totally wrong there. So all pretty basic stuff. We're not in the tooltips, which is awesome. I think tooltips is a great feature on plugins, and you're seeing like lots of introductions to plugins now, which is cool. Let's try it out on some drums here. We'll see if we can get that happening. A little bit of grit there for sure now. You can really hear it on the transient. It's a really nice saturation. I love using delay, just sometimes just really finitely to just kind of sit a snare in. Doesn't have to be much. There's a bit of a widener. That sounds nice and splatty. And if we just want a straight, what if we can get, let's get it back synced up here. Yeah, it really sits in the saturation, really. It's very pleasing. Sits it nicely into the mix. Oh, it does default to center. Okay, I was wrong about that. That's great. This ping pong just has to be off. Yeah, that feels nice. Awesome. Okay, maybe we'll try, let's go try it out on some guitars. Let me try it on some of the more pop country kind of thing. We'll head over there and we'll load up this X-Delay. Can definitely, I would maybe take the modulation out of here at 50% now a little bit. You can hear it get pretty swimmy. Really starting to mess with our pitch. So maybe that was okay on the vocal before, but not so much here. Definitely very nice and soundscapey. Let's just try a straight up slap. Oh, we are getting some stereo width there now this time, so that's nice. A great feature I'd love to see is kind of like a stereo inverse option, the option to invert the pan really easily, so that I can just change the panning of my guitars, or changing how the guitars or the return is coming, rather than having to go to the plugin itself or go to the channel itself and edit that up. Yeah, this thing sounds really nice. Let's give it some diffusion. Try and see how hard I can hit that saturation. So it does get pretty driven if you wanted to, which is cool. If you really want to fuzz something up and then kind of just mix it back in. I really wish there was level matching. It really should be on every plugin. I think we got some organs and stuff in here too we can try it out on. Let's go back to factory default. It really is pretty. It's a very musical EQ, very dreamy, but not washy. Modulation does seem pretty heavy at 50% on instruments. You can really hear the pitch getting affected, but this thing's got instant vibe, very musical. Let's bypass it. Saturate a little bit. Bypassed on the organ. Thing's super dreamy. Let's take the diffusion off. The saturation does really poke its head out sometimes, which is cool. I like that. Let's go back to those guitars for a second. See, and like the meters being so far apart, it's really hard for me to just kind of quickly see what levels I'm at. Like maybe give me a readout so I can say, oh, I'm like losing 4 dBs of gain, or I'm losing 10 dBs of gain, or I'm adding too much gain. This thing's quite nice. Looks nice. Feedback knob doesn't seem to affect the freeze. Maybe it does. Be kind of cool if it did. If you could kind of play with that freeze a little bit after the fact. I don't know if you can. Maybe if we change the... Oh yeah, you can. So you can affect... Getting a dub land if you want to, which is awesome. All right, well let's recap this a little bit here quickly. New X-Delay from Solid State Logic. I think it's great. I think this thing's a W. I can see myself using this immediately in mixes and in production. It's zero latency. It's super musical sounding. The interface looks a little daunting at first, but you really get it quickly. It's pretty easy, and it all feels great. It all moves great, and it's just easy to move around. Everything is kind of click and draggable or clickable in a couple of spots, in and out. It's awesome. Great feature set. Undo, redo, amazing. AB, amazing. Thank you. High pass, low pass filters are great. I mean, there's enough room here. This is a big enough interface. Maybe I should have a little bit more control with an EQ. That'd be awesome. Give me a mid band, maybe. Just one more band. Width sounds really nice. Mix is great. You can get into some crazy stuff with the freeze and the kill, which is super cool. Yeah, the 4 tap seems a little bit much right off the rip. I was a little bit like, this seems like a lot, but actually it's really great. They're all on and off, and you can change the level on each of them, which is awesome. Easy to sync up. You can pan them around through the whole spectrum, which is super cool, and you can automate that, so you can really make your delays move in ways that you want to. I mean, God, for sound design or something like that, that's incredible. Really easy way to do that, putting it right on a knob, and this thing, you can just enable automation really easy everywhere in Pro Tools, which I love. I think plugins that can't do that, universal audio, make it difficult. Input output. I wish the meters were a little bit closer together. I think that I don't need to jump around. Just give me the input and the output all on one side, either side. I don't care which side, just give them to me together. The meters are kind of useless to me without that. Diffuse sounds really great. Gets a little tinny, but really nice. You can push it back into the mix. The saturation I'm really impressed with. Very musical, and you can drive it. It gets a little bit barky, like not barky bad. It's really quite nice. It'd be great if there was an option to just kind of hard distort. That would be cool. Overall, this thing's great. It's quick, which I'm always looking for. I'm looking for fast things. It sounds really musical. Tried it on vocals, drums, and some guitars and a keyboard, and it sounds great on all of them. The delays just sat right in there. Ping pong feature. It's all great. The ESR is awesome. I like that. The filters sound really smooth. Width sounds good. Auto gain would also be awesome, especially when you start pushing the width thing. It gets a little out of control, a little quick, but sounds good. Yeah, overall, this is a W. I'm really impressed with this thing. I definitely will be using it. Nice work with Solid State Logic. Thanks for making something great. That's going to do it for me today. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate it. If you're catching this on YouTube, please be sure to drop me a like and a follow. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks.